Hi everyone, it's me, Nanny Annie again. I know I haven't been on YouTube a while with my stories, but believe it or not, I've had requests for some new ones, and it's come from people who say they're fans of mine. Can you imagine? I've got fans. Anyway, I've written this story and I hope you like it. It's called Rob the Timid Dinosaur. A long time ago, when the world was young, lived Rob. He was the eldest son of the king of the dinosaurs. He lived in the deep forest with his family and other creatures. He was a very quiet, shy dinosaur who looked different to the others. His scales were white, and this was very unusual colour amongst the dinosaurs. His younger brother had beautiful green and black scales, and his father had fabulous golden ones. His brother Ralph was large and strong and very boisterous. He always wanted to play fight because he always won. Ralph made fun of Rob because he was so quiet and he didn't like fighting. He bullied Rob and took great delight in frightening him at every chance he got. Rob was very afraid of the dark, noisy forest. He hated swimming in the sea because he was scared the fish swimming towards him and nibbling his feet. Rob was scared of heights because looking down made him feel very dizzy. Although Rob seemed to be afraid of everything, including his own shadow, he was loved by all the small creatures in the forest. If he saw a chick falling from the nest, he would gently pick it up and put it back in, much to the delight of the mummy bird, and she would thank him very, very much. He was even helping all the little dinosaurs and all the forest creatures, and they loved him so much. When Rob was little, he had the most amazing loud roar. It was so loud that his father nicknamed him Rory the Great. Rob never used his roar because it frightened everyone. As Rob and Ralph grew older, Ralph teased Rob, telling him he wasn't good enough to be the next king of the dinosaurs. He wasn't strong or he wasn't brave, and he should be Ralph and not him. Rob was really upset and very scared of Ralph, but he wasn't brave enough to stand up to him. One day Rob's father sent for him, and he says, "Oh, my son, I need you so much. I need you to be strong and brave. Your brother has stolen the crown, and you must go and get it back for me. I cannot go because I'm too old, and the journey is long and dangerous." His father looked so sad that Rob said, "I'll get it back for you, Dad. Don't look sad. Ralph can't have your crown." Rob left the palace and went in search of his naughty, bullying brother. He asked the creatures in the forest if they'd seen him. The mummy bird Rob had helped told him that she'd seen Ralph crashing through the dark forest on his way to the sea. Rob looked into the noisy darkness, and although he was afraid, he took a deep breath. And then he started running through the forest. He soon picked up his brother's stinky scent. Ralph never had a wash and was always very smelly. Rob was shivering with fear, but he wouldn't stop because he didn't want to let his father down. After a few hours of running, he saw a light up ahead and he heard the sea lapping on the shore. Rob went to the sea and smelt the shoreline to see where Ralph had gone in the water. Oh, he could see crabs and fish and sea snakes in the sea, but although he was very frightened, he took a deep breath and he ran into the water. He swam using his front paws, feet and powerful tail to speed his way through the sea. Lots of sea creatures tried to nibble and bite him, but Rob did a powerful roar which made them swim away quite quickly. Rob was so sad that he'd frightened the sea creatures, but he couldn't let them slow him down. He had to get the crown back. Finally, Rob got to an island where he could smell his stinky brother. He climbed out of the sea and shook his wet, scaly body dry. Rob sniffed around until he came to the base of a high mountain. Ralph had gone up, and the only way that Rob could get the crown back was to climb that mountain. Rob felt sick with fear, as he really didn't like heights, but he took a deep breath and he started to climb. He climbed slowly at first because his knees were knocking together, and he felt like he was going to be sick. He continued to look up and tried not to look down, because looking down made him feel like he wanted to go back and stay safely on the ground. His feet slipped a few times, but he continued to climb. He was really puffed out when he got to the top of the mountain, and he lay down on the ground to get his breath back. Rob could smell the stinky smell of his brother, and he was close, and he followed the scent to a deep, dark cave. Rob hated the dark because you couldn't see what was there and whether it was going to attack you. But he took another deep breath and he followed his brother's stinky scent, going deeper and deeper into the dark cave. After a while, he could see a glow and hear his brother's angry voice. He quietly sneaked up on Ralph to see what was making him so mad. Ralph was in the middle of a cavern, and the glow was coming from the crown on the floor. His brother picked up the crown and said, "You're mine. I'm the next king of the dinosaurs, not my stupid scaredy-cat brother. I'm strong and I'm powerful, and you're mine." But every time Ralph put the crown on his head, it disappeared and reappeared on the floor again. Ralph was furious because no matter how many times he tried to put the crown on his head, it appeared on the floor again and again. Rob walked into the cavern and said, "Ralph, I'm taking that crown back to father." Although Ralph was shocked to see him, Ralph started to laugh, and he laughed. "You and whose army? Who have you brought with you to help get my crown?" "You're a coward, Rob. You're afraid of your own shadow. You can't take it from me." Rob looked at his brother, and he could see what he was, a miserable bully, and that the only way to deal with him was to stand up for what was right. Rob took a deep breath and he roared. His roar was so loud it made the cave walls shake and the floor vibrate, causing Ralph to fall over and hide his head. It was the first time Ralph had ever been afraid of his brother. Rob walked towards him and picked the crown up, putting it on his head, where it stayed. "Ralph, you need to find your way home and ask father to forgive you for stealing the crown. I hope he doesn't punish you too harshly," said Rob. Rob left his brother crying in the cave. He climbed down the mountain, swam across the sea, ran through the deep, noisy forest until he reached the palace. At the palace, Rob quickly ran to his father, holding the crown. Imagine his surprise. His father was wearing the golden crown. Rob was holding a crown which glowed with the silver light. Rob was very confused because he thought this one was his father's crown. The king of the dinosaurs smiled with pride at his son and said, My son, you are the bravest dinosaur in this land. Although you were afraid of the forest, you overcame that fear. You were afraid of the sea and the sea creatures, but that didn't stop you in your quest. You were afraid of heights, but you bravely climbed the mountain. You were afraid of the dark in the cave, but you went through to the darkness. You were afraid of your bully brother, but you stood up to him. You overcame all your fears to do what was right. I cannot be more proud of you. From now on, you are going to be Rory the Fearless. You will be a fantastic king because not only are you brave, you are kind too. You care for all the creatures in the land. Rory, put your crown on your head and wear it with pride. Look at your body, my son. Rory the Fearless looked down at his body to see his scales were sparkling and shining silver in the light. He couldn't believe it was him. He was magnificent. From then on, Rory the Fearless and all the dinosaurs lived happily ever after. Ralph learned to be nice and became his brother's best friend. Hope you enjoyed that story. I just want you to know that everybody gets scared of something and everybody's afraid of something. But it's what you do with your fear. You being brave is trying to overcome your fears because that's what makes you strong inside. So, hopefully I'll have another story for you. And I hope you like that one. Bye now.